Change is a significant and lasting change in the statistical distribution of weather patterns over a period of time. It includes changing in average weather conditions caused by biotic processes and global warming from variations in solar radiation. While all technical, it is very real and has far-reaching effects in the Caribbean. Today was the start of a two-day workshop with stakeholders in the various sectors, both public and private, that must be on guard to address the adverse effects of climate change.
We want to make Belizeans more aware about climate change and how it will impact us. So today the presentation was just the start of that awareness, in which I try to explain what is climate change, trying to make the distinction between weather and climate and what climate change is all about. Then we went into some of the causes of climate change, and that mainly deals with the emissions of greenhouse gases from different industries, from the use of fossil fuels, oil, coal, and many other fossil fuels. And then we went into some of the evidences of climate change, because we realized that even though we tell people about climate change, what it is and how it will affect us, there are a lot of skeptics out there that don't really believe that this whole issue of climate change is happening and that it will really affect us. So we went into some of the evidences of climate change in terms of sea level rise, rising temperature, rising the concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, the heating of our oceans and so forth. Belize is not one of the major contributors to the whole aspect of global warming. There are many developing countries that have contributed a great amount of the emissions that I was talking about in my presentation.
The symposium works harmoniously with the action plan of the Belize City Council and its City Emergency Management Organization. Liaison Officer Wayne Usher speaks on how it helps the various sectors to prepare in time of disasters.
The participants were drawn from the three sectors. The City Council have all its senior managers here, because when we respond to emergencies at CEMA, we want the entire country, the entire staff and senior staff at the City Council to work with us, to feel what we are feeling and to be galvanized to help in our cause. The areas that I covered this morning was the energy sector, the tourism sector, the health sector, the food and agriculture sectors. Those are paramount sectors in Belize for our own sustainable development.
Simultaneously, a climate change expo was held also at the Biltmore under the theme, Building Climate Resilient Municipalities. Present for the expo were several environmental organizations, including Oceana Belize and Southern Environmental Alliance, SEA. Omar Sierra spoke of the efforts done to protect mangroves, which will offset the effects of climate change.
In specifically the southern area, and most of the countries as well, we're trying to promote protection of the mangroves, and you have a lot of development happening in the south. I'll use Placencia for example because it's so familiar to me. It has a lot of mangroves, and you know we have a very healthy Placencia lagoon, which is one of the healthiest. It has one of the healthiest populations of manatees, and apart from that, it has lots of other species. And one thing about mangroves that I can say is that it holds soil together, and eventually it builds land. So if you clear all the mangroves, eventually you will have a lot of erosion.
We need to realize that climate change will impact our coral reef. And if it impacts our coral reef, then it affects the tourism industry. Now, one of the things that I've heard that has been happening is that because of overfishing and some unsustainable tourism activities that are being carried out, we are actually helping to destroy our own coral reef. And so what we're doing is that we're speeding up the effects of climate change on our coral reef.
Day 2 of the symposium will take a more comprehensive look at the impact of climate change on the Keys and districts. Dwayne Moody for News 5.